She said, "My work husband is just a friend. You being jealous is controlling and shows you have small d energy." I saw her texting him hearts. I replied, "You're right." Then I ghosted her, blocked her everywhere, and started dating the woman she was always jealous of. When she showed up at my job crying about closure, she learned that some doors stay shut forever. I, 32M, am a lead diesel mechanic for a commercial shipyard. I fix the engines on tugboats and container ships. It is loud, dirty, precise work. If I mess up a valve timing or a seal, a ship dead in the water costs the company $50,000 an hour. There is no gray area in my line of work. I clock in, I solve problems, I clock out. I don't like drama, and I don't like people who play games with definitions. My ex-girlfriend Vanessa, 28F, lived entirely in the gray area. We had been dating for 18 months. She worked in pharmaceutical sales, a job that involved a lot of networking, client dinners, and corporate vocabulary that sounds good but means nothing. For the first year, things were solid. Vanessa was high energy, fun, and affectionate. She had her own apartment downtown, and I have my house near the docks. We didn't live together, but she spent 4 or 5 nights a week at my place. She kept a drawer and a toothbrush, but she maintained her own lease and primary address. That detail is important later. The trouble started about 4 months ago when Todd joined her sales team. At first, Todd was just a name. Todd is so funny, or Todd messed up the coffee order. Innocent stuff. I didn't care. I have female colleagues at the shipyard. Rare, but they exist, and it's strictly professional. I assumed she operated the same way. I trust until you give me a reason not to. But then, the work-husband dynamic started. It wasn't one big event. It was 1,000 little cuts. A slow erosion of boundaries that she insisted was normal corporate culture. She started texting constantly in the evenings. We would be watching a movie, and her face would be lit up by the blue light of her phone, giggling. "Who's that?" I asked one night, pausing the movie. "Just Todd," she said, not looking up. "He sent me a meme about our boss." "It's 10 p.m. on a Tuesday," I said. "Doesn't he have a wife?" She rolled her eyes. "He's separated, or complicated, whatever. He's just a friend, Mark. God, don't be weird." Then came the work lunches that turned into happy hours that went until 9 p.m. She would come over to my place smelling like expensive cocktails and men's cologne, the kind of cheap, musky stuff that lingers in elevators. "Todd hugged me goodbye," she explained when I wrinkled my nose. "He's just really affectionate. It's platonic. Europeans are like that." "Todd is from Ohio," I pointed out. "You're being ridiculous," she snapped. My mind flipped this moment. I started to hate her. Mentally, I was no longer in the relationship. I started to pull back. I stopped initiating dates. I stopped texting her good morning every day. I was observing. When a machine starts making a weird noise, you don't hit it with a hammer immediately. You listen to figure out where the friction is. The friction was Todd, and the lubricant was her blatant disrespect. 3 weeks ago, we were at dinner at a nice steakhouse. Her treat. I had just finished a 60-hour week on a harbor tug engine overhaul. My back ached, my hands were stained with grease despite scrubbing them raw, and I just wanted a nice meal. Vanessa spent the entire appetizer course on her phone. "Can you put that away?" I asked, cutting into my ribeye. "We're at dinner." She huffed and placed the phone face down. "You are being so moody lately." "I'm not moody," I said. "I'm just tired of competing with Todd for your attention. If you want to talk to him, go talk to him. But don't do it on my dime." That is when the mask came off. She looked at me with this mix of pity and disgust that makes my blood boil just thinking about it. "Mark, you are being so insecure. Todd is my work husband. It is a totally normal corporate dynamic. He understands the pressure I am under. You work with wrenches and grease. You don't get the corporate world. You don't understand networking." "I get respect," I said calmly, "and texting another man while you're on a date with me isn't respectful. Call it whatever corporate buzzword you want. It's emotional cheating." "Oh my God," she laughed, loud enough for the table next to us to turn their heads. "This is so controlling. You know what this is? This is small d energy. You are threatened by him because he's successful and funny, and you're just jealous. It's internalized toxic masculinity. You can't handle a woman having a male friend because you're insecure about your own manhood." I stopped chewing. Small d energy. I looked at her. I looked at the woman I had spent a year and a half with. The woman I had introduced to my parents. She wasn't looking at me. Her phone had buzzed on the table. She flipped it over. The screen lit up. A text from Todd. It read, "Miss you already. Save a seat next to me tomorrow." With a heart emoji. She saw me read it. She didn't even look guilty. She looked defiant. "See," she said. "He's just being friendly. The heart is ironic. You wouldn't get it." I sat there for a moment. In my head, I walked through the diagnostics. System. Relationship. Status. Catastrophic failure. Repairable. No. Action. Scuttle the ship. I didn't yell. I didn't flip the table. I didn't demand she delete his number. That is what a weak man does. He bargains for respect. A strong man knows that if you have to bargain for it, it's already gone. I wiped my mouth with the napkin and placed it on the table. "You're right," I said. Her face softened into a smug smile. "I'm glad you admit it. You really need to work on your insecurity, Mark. It's not attractive. I need a man who is secure enough to let me shine." "No, I mean you're right," I repeated. "I shouldn't be jealous, and I shouldn't be controlling. You should be free to do whatever you want." I signaled the waiter for the check. I paid. I didn't let her pay a dime. I wanted the clean sheet. I wanted zero debt, zero leverage, and absolutely no reason for her to say I owed her anything. "Are you ready to go?" I asked. "Yeah," she said, tapping out a reply to Todd. "Let's go back to your place." "I'm tired." "Actually," I said, "I'm going to drop you at your apartment. I have an early shift." She looked annoyed but agreed. The car ride was silent. She was texting Todd the whole time, giggling softly. I pulled up to her building downtown. Since she had her own lease and her own place, I wasn't kicking her out of her home. I was just returning her to it. "Call me tomorrow," she said, leaning in for a kiss. I turned my head so she kissed my cheek. "Good night, Vanessa." She frowned, got out, and slammed the door. As soon as she was inside the lobby, I drove home. I walked into my house. I went to the bathroom. I took her toothbrush, her face wash, and her specialized shampoo. I went to the bedroom. I took her clothes from the drawer. I took the shoes she left by the door. I put everything into 2 garbage bags. I put the bags in the trunk of my truck. I drove back to her apartment building. It was midnight now. I didn't buzz up. I left the bags in the vestibule with the doorman, who knows me. Giving these back to her, I told him, handing him a 20. She left them at my place. "Don't buzz her until I'm gone." Then I drove home. I sat on my couch, opened my phone, and went down the list. Phone number blocked, Instagram blocked, Facebook blocked, LinkedIn blocked, Venmo blocked. I didn't send a breakup text. I didn't write a letter explaining my feelings. I didn't give her the satisfaction of a fight. She said I had small d energy for caring? Fine, now I don't care at all. I ghosted her, completely. The next morning I went to work. I felt lighter. Around 10 a.m., my blocked folder started logging attempts. Blocked call from Vanessa, 4 attempts. Blocked message, Mark? Why is my stuff with the doorman? Blocked message, is this a joke? Pick up. Blocked message, you are being so childish. Call me. I didn't respond. I kept working on the valve assembly. By the afternoon, she switched tactics. She called my best friend Dave. Dave works with me at the yard. He knows the score. Dave walked over to my station while I was calibrating a fuel injector. "Hey," Dave said, wiping grease off his hands. "Vanessa is blowing up my phone. She says you're having a mental breakdown and threw her out." "I didn't throw her out," I said, not looking up from the engine. "She has her own apartment. I returned her property to her legal residence. Legally, I just did her a favor." "She said you broke up with her because she has a friend named Todd." I put down the wrench. "She told me my discomfort with her emotional affair was small d energy and controlling. So, I removed the control. She's free to be with Todd. I'm out." Dave laughed. A deep belly laugh. "Small d energy? Coming from the guy who lifts engine blocks? Damn, okay, I'll handle it." Dave texted her back. "Mark is fine. He just realized you two aren't compatible. He asks that you respect his space." She didn't respect the space. She showed up at my house that night. I have a Ring doorbell. I was inside eating a steak and watching a documentary about WW2 logistics. My phone buzzed. Motion at front door. I checked the camera. It was Vanessa. She was banging on the door. She looked furious. "Mark, open the door. You can't just ghost me after 18 months. This is abuse. This is gaslighting. I know you're in there." I didn't move. I didn't turn on the porch light. I sat there and ate my steak. She banged for 20 minutes. Then she started crying. Then she started screaming that I was a coward. Eventually, my neighbor, Mrs. Gable, a 70-year-old woman who takes no prisoners, came out onto her porch. Honey, Mrs. Gable yelled, he obviously doesn't want to talk to you. Go home before I call the cops for disturbing the peace. Vanessa left, screeching tires as she peeled away. The next day, the flying monkeys arrived. Her friends. The squad. I got DMs from 3 different women telling me I was a misogynist, that I was fragile, that I couldn't handle a strong woman with a career. Friend 1, you are pathetic. She was just networking. Friend 2, real men don't ghost. Friend 3, you'll never find anyone as good as her. I didn't argue. I blocked them all. See, here is what guys need to understand. Explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you is a waste of time. It's like trying to explain aerodynamics to a fish. They don't live in your world. Now we need to talk about Elena. Elena, 30F, works as a logistics coordinator at the shipyard. She manages the flow of containers, heavy equipment, and the massive trucks that come in and out of the port. She is sharp, professional, and carries herself with a quiet confidence that is terrifying to insecure people. Vanessa hated Elena. I had introduced them once, about a year ago, at a company barbecue. Elena had been polite, shaken Vanessa's hand, asked her about her job, and then spent the rest of the time talking to me and Dave about supply chain issues. On the car ride home that day, Vanessa had gone off. That Elena girl wants you, Vanessa had seethed. What? No, she doesn't. We talk about shipping manifests, I said. She's a pick-me girl, Vanessa argued. She acts like one of the guys to get attention. She was looking at you with hungry eyes. You need to stay away from her. I don't want you talking to her unless it's strictly work. I had laughed it off, but to keep the peace, I had distanced myself from Elena. I kept our interactions strictly professional for a year. I respected the boundary Vanessa set, even though she refused to respect mine with Todd. But now, I was a free man. 2 weeks after the ghosting, I ran into Elena in the break room. She was reviewing a manifest. She looked tired but good. Hey Mark, she said. I heard through the grapevine you're single. Dave has a big mouth. Dave is a town crier, I smiled. Yeah, I'm single. Sorry to hear that, she said, taking a sip of coffee. Don't be, I said. It was overdue. Turns out I had small d energy because I didn't like her texting another guy hearts. Elena choked on her coffee. She actually laughed so hard she snorted. No way, she gasped. She said that? To my face. Elena shook her head. Wow. Well, for the record, standing up for your boundaries is pretty big energy in my book. Most guys just roll over. We looked at each other. There was no drama, no games, just 2 adults who respected each other. I'm gonna grab a beer at the Rusty Anchor after shift, I said. You wanna join? I'd love to, she said, but I'm buying the first round. I just got a bonus. We went out. We talked for 3 hours. We didn't talk about vibes or networking. We talked about work, about our families, about how hard it is to find decent people these days. We started dating. It wasn't a whirlwind romance. It was steady. It was easy. Elena didn't need constant validation. If I was busy working late, she texted, "Copy that. Dinner is in the fridge." If we went to dinner, she left her phone in her purse. It was peace. It had been 6 weeks since I ghosted Vanessa. I was moving on. I assumed she was happily work-husbanding with Todd. I was wrong. Apparently, my total silence drove her insane. Narcissists hate being the villain, but they hate being irrelevant even more. By blocking her and not giving her the closure fight she wanted, I had denied her the victim narrative. She couldn't tell people I screamed at her. She could only tell people I vanished. And then she found out about Elena. I had posted one picture on Instagram, just a photo of 2 beers on a table at sunset, tagging Elena. No caption, just the tag. Vanessa must have been stalking me from a burner account. Last Friday, I was in the shop. It was 3 p.m. I was covered in grease, working on a piston assembly for a tugboat. My radio crackled. It was dispatch. Mark, we have a situation at Gate 4. A civilian vehicle is blocking a delivery truck. The driver is refusing to move and is demanding to speak to you. Security is about to tow it, but she's screaming your name. My stomach dropped. Not fear, annoyance. Copy, I said. I'm en route. I wiped my hands on a rag and walked the 1/4 mile to the main gate. There she was, Vanessa. She had parked her Audi right in front of a flatbed truck carrying steel plates. The trucker was honking. Security guards were yelling. She was dressed up like sales meeting, dressed up. Heels, blazer, full makeup. She looked completely out of place against the backdrop of cranes, rusted steel, and industrial grit. She was arguing with Jerome, the head of security. "I just need 5 minutes," she was pleading. "He's my boyfriend." "Vanessa," I said, walking up. She spun around. Her face lit up with that manic hope. "Mark, oh my God, finally. You blocked me everywhere. Do you know how traumatizing that is?" "Move your car," I said. "You are blocking a commercial shipment. That's a federal violation in a secure port." "We need closure," she yelled, ignoring the massive truck behind her. "You can't just end it like that. We need to process this. And I saw you're with her, that truck stop girl Alina." "I knew it. You were cheating on me the whole time, weren't you?" "The audacity." "I didn't cheat," I said. "I left. You were the one texting Todd Hearts. Remember? Small D energy?" "That was a joke," she shrieked. "You threw away a partnership for a joke. I love you, Mark. Todd means nothing. He's actually really annoying. I just like the attention. I can cut him off. Just come back. We can go to therapy." I looked at her. I really looked at her. I saw a woman who used people. She used me for stability. She used Todd for attention. And now that her stability was gone, she was trying to claw it back because Todd probably didn't want to pay for her dinners or listen to her drama. "I don't want therapy," I said. "I want you to leave my job site." "You're dating her just to spite me," she accused. At that moment, a golf cart pulled up. It was Elena. She was the logistics coordinator. Obviously, she'd been called because a truck was blocked. Elena stepped out holding a clipboard, wearing her hard hat and vest. She looked at the scene. She looked at Vanessa. "Is this the obstruction?" Elena asked me calmly. Vanessa glared at her. "You stole him, you homewrecker." Elena didn't flinch. She didn't yell back. She just looked at Vanessa with professional indifference. "Ma'am," Elena said, "you are trespassing on a MARSEC Level 1 facility. You are blocking a scheduled delivery. If you do not move your vehicle in 30 seconds, I am authorizing the Port Authority to tow it and impound it, and I will have you barred from the premises permanently." Vanessa looked at me. "Mark, are you going to let her talk to me like that?" "She's doing her job," I said. "Something you wouldn't understand. Go home, Vanessa." "Jerome," Elena said to the guard. "Call the tow truck." "No," Vanessa screamed. "Fine, I'm leaving." She got in her car, slammed the door, and reversed aggressively, nearly hitting the security bollards. She sped off, middle finger out the window. Elena watched her go, then made a mark on her clipboard. "Sorry about the delay," Elena said to the truck driver. "You're good to clear." She looked at me and winked. "Dinner at your place?" "You bet," I said. It has been a week since the shipyard showdown. Vanessa tried to spin the story on social media. She posted a long video about toxic men and narcissistic discard. It didn't go the way she planned. See, she forgot that we live in a semi-small community. People talk. People knew about Todd. A mutual friend sent me screenshots of the comments on her video. Friend 1, "Didn't you brag about your work husband buying you lunch every day?" Friend 2, "Wait, Mark is the most chill guy I know. If he blocked you, you probably deserved it." Friend 3, "Isn't this the guy who fixed your car for free? Maybe stop posting." She deleted the video. As for Todd, I heard through the grapevine that once Vanessa was single and turned her full, high-intensity focus on him, he panicked. He liked the flirting when she was taken. It was safe. When she showed up at his door expecting a relationship, he ghosted her too. Irony is a beautiful mechanic. I'm doing great. Elena and I are planning a weekend trip up the coast. She drives her own truck, pays for her own beer, and doesn't need a work husband because she respects the man she comes home to. The other night, Elena and I were sitting on my porch. "Do you miss the excitement?" Elena asked jokingly. "The drama? The high-stakes sales pitch?" "Not even a little bit," I said. I checked my phone. 0 unread messages. 0 drama. Just a notification that the tide tables for fishing tomorrow were looking good. "You know," I said, putting my arm around her, "I think I finally found the right energy." "Big D energy?" she smirked. "No," I said, kissing her forehead. "Peaceful energy. That's the only kind that matters. Fellas, listen to me. The moment she insults your manhood to defend her disrespect, the relationship is over. Don't argue. Don't fight. Don't try to prove you're secure. Agree with her. Tell her she's right. and then vanish. There is nothing that haunts a manipulator more than a victim who refuses to play the game. And if you're lucky, you'll find an Elena who was waiting for you to stop playing games too.